3, 2, 1. Welcome to another edition of Indian Cinemaniacs. What's going on, Maniacs?
Hey,
Maniacs.
Hello.
What's going on? Sorry I'm so bright today, guys. I apologize.
Yeah.
My camera's down. I'm using a
Camera
webcam.
difficulties. Yeah. It's good. It hides some of the wrinkles, though, actually.
I look a little washed out. I'm not, usually I'm tanned, I feel very pasty today.
Yeah. All right, let's get right to this film. Viewer pick. John, can you read the viewer pick?
Wait,
the name of the film is Anion? Is that how you pronounce this?
Anion.
Anion. Why don't you read the description?
The only thing, you know what? I don't have who recommended this.
Ugh.
Oh, no, I do.
Okay.
I do. Ramakrishnan K.
Okay.
Now, so we asked for the big sell. This was one sentence, but I liked it. Here we go. Now, having seen the movie, a common man, frustration at what he sees as increasing social apathy and public negligence leads to a split personality. And I have to say something up front that really undersells this movie.
Okay? Yeah, it sure does.
Having seen the movie, it really undersells it. So who wants to do the synopsis of this one?
Let me start first. Okay. I don't have to do a synopsis, but when I saw the 3-hour runtime, I got super pissed off. And I was like, there's no way I can't do this. I cannot sit through this film. And it was a Sunday night, it's late. I know I shouldn't do it because I'm probably going to drop lid and it's going to be, and I was just mad. I was like, this is ridiculous. These viewer picks, if I have to sit through 3 hours of another one of these. So I got through the first hour and 40 minutes, right up until the, not intermission. What's it? The interval. And then I stopped and I decided to pick it up the next day. And boy, I'm glad I did. I have to admit, I love this film. I can't talk about it enough. I didn't want to watch it. I was so mad. That first 40 minutes, it's just like, oh, here we go. Another goofy film. Another guy falling in love with somebody, trying to get her to love him. He's kind of got some weird quirks. I didn't quite know where it was going or why it was doing what it was doing. So the premise of the film is he plays a lawyer who, as we meet him, find out that he cannot deal with people skirting any bit of the law,
breaking
any bit
rules.
of the law,
breaking
any rules,
right.
rules, putting your hand up to turn right. If you're driving a motorcycle, all these little things that just drive him insane. And we don't know why they drive him insane. Eventually we find out, which is what changed it for me. And he somehow gets a website. Again, the mechanics of this film, I don't understand.
Don't sweat that stuff too much.
Yeah. So he gets on this website, anion.com.
What was the postcard that he received?
I know he got that. He's supposed to send to 15 other people. It's like a pyramid scheme somehow.
It's one of those chain letters.
Right. Chain letter. Well, anyway, it triggers the split personality in him. And actually, it's not a split. It's 3 personalities because he creates the one that goes around and vindictively murders human beings that really didn't do horrible things. I mean, you could argue that they broke whatever rule or they broke whatever he pissed him off, but he murdered these people in horrendous ways. This Aninon guy when he changes personality, his hair goes down in front of his eyes.
Voice gets real deep.
And the way the hair falls in front of the camera is just great.
Yeah. And then, of course, he's trying to get this woman to fall in love with him. So he creates another personality called Remo, a model or something, or a ramp walker.
A walking model.
A walking model. That pops up, and when he needs him to come up to romance this woman, he uses that personality.
Well, he doesn't know that he's using the personality.
He doesn't know. The original guy doesn't know.
He goes blank and doesn't know what's going on, which they have a lot of fun with as the time between personalities, collapses.
The second half of this film really just leaned into what was going on. And I have to say, it's the audacity of the film. Because at first I'm watching it, the director's using all these different styles, colors, things are like happening, changing instantly. There seemed to be no reason for any of what was going on. And then I kind of just leaned into it and just thoroughly enjoyed where it ended up. And we find out the trauma that he had about his sister because somebody didn't do their job. And there's this courtroom scene where they try to pin an accident on one person, and they realize you can't pin that accident on one because it's all these series of things that happen to get that thing to that point. That if everybody had just done their job, turns out his sister was electrocuted in some water because somebody didn't do their job. But if everybody along the way had done their job, his sister would still be alive. And it's what created this thing he had about people breaking rules, including his girlfriend. There's that whole scene where they go to some tax auditor or something, and her family is trying to lie about how much money or what something was worth to get more taxes. I didn't quite understand what was going on there, except that he wouldn't do it. And she was frustrated through this whole film. There's that scene on the bus where he takes the bus to the police station because some guy he got in a fight or something. And she says to him after they do all this, I was late for work. This person was late for work because you felt like you had to do all these things. I'm not giving a good description of what this film was. I'm just saying I absolutely love this film. I didn't want to love it. I wanted to be pissed. I wanted to quit. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. And then this thing happened and I'm like, okay, I'm in. I mean, the lengths are intense. And there's dance numbers in here that just crop up out of nowhere, like always.
And go on forever.
But I got to admit, the choreography in those things and the film staging was just really nice. I mean, that scene in Amsterdam where they're running through the tulips is beautiful. The scene, forget that whole dojo scene.
Forget it.
The Matrix thing that was going on. Anyway, I want to hear what you guys think too. So,
well, before anyone says anything, we should give a little background. This is 2005 Tamil film. It was directed by Shankar, and it stars Vikram, who I've never seen, but big Tamil star.
Superstar.
Seda. And the only one I recognized was Prakash Raj, who was in a movie I watched, Singham. But the other actors I didn't recognize at all. But
there is one more. There is one more that you could recognize.
Who?
Nasser played the doctor who explained the multiple personalities.
Yeah,
and he was in Bahubali. He was the vizier with the withered arm.
Oh, okay. Oh, really? Oh no, yeah. I did recognize that.
Yeah, that's him.
Okay,
right.
Okay,
he's great.
So go ahead. That's it. I just want to make sure we got that.
Yeah,
out. So,
I mean, like I said, I didn't describe the plot very well, but I just thought this film was crazy and amazing. So, Chris, you said you had some crazy thoughts. That was it. Not amazing. Crazy, not amazing.
Here,
that's fair.
Literally, so I'm watching the movie, and as it begins, he's going through this like nightmarish day of everybody just being a jerk and not
like falling down. That's what it reminded me.
That's exactly what went through my head. I was like, "Oh, where's Michael Douglas?
Yeah,
like he's just gonna lose his mind."
Am I the bad guy?
I'm the villain. I'm the bad guy. Yeah, you are. And so I'm going through that, and you're like you mentioned it. The first half of this movie is tough to get through. But I'll be honest with you guys. Like when as I was watching this movie, because it is silly and it is goofy and all that stuff, I couldn't help but think, man, are our viewers putting this on? Like that's what I thought. I was like, wait a minute, like. Somebody messing with us? Are they actually messing with us now? Like it would be like somebody, like if we said to them, "Oh, you gotta watch Bad Boys 2. It's great."
It is in some,
of course it isn't. It's terrible.
Right.
But my point is, so yeah, as I was watching this, and the funny thing is, yeah, it definitely picks up in the second half, and there's some great fight scenes, like that fire pit fight scene was fantastic, like really great, so I mean, and there's some really good stuff, but then there's that scene where he's with I guess he's a policeman, and the policeman freezes him in like a
oh yeah
when he's interrogating him,
and he keeps slapping him, and he keeps like changing personalities,
he's flipping in and out of personalities,
and it was just like
that's a tour de force right there. That acting going on.
At that point, I was just like, okay, check, please.
That's the end of the film, though. I mean, that's the end.
I know, that's what I mean. But it, like I said, it picked up a little bit. But then the very end, where they let this guy back out because they've done something to him, which they never really explain.
Well, they changed his hair and he's wearing, like
Yeah, he
Yeah,
cut his
like-
hair.
khakis.
Anion just didn't show up for 2 years. That's the only reason why
So
he got
like
out.
he's fine, and then all of a sudden, or was it Anion all the time? He was just pretending.
That's how I
that
took
was
it.
the hook that I kind of liked.
That's how I took it.
You
Oh, I
know,
didn't take that.
Yeah.
Maybe it was the other guy that was gone, and Anion was like the new.
So
he
you
was-
didn't like the end there where he's got the guy outside the train?
I just felt that was once again like he's murdering people.
I know that. Well,
For
that's the
being-
one thing I
for
have to.
being a jerk, right? Like that guy was rude and obnoxious and all of those things. Does he deserve a slap? Which Indian movies are the best at delivering great slaps up against dudes' heads. Yes, they all deserve this should have been called like Slapmaster, and he should have just gone around smacking people in the head, right?
Slapmaster.
But it doesn't. I'm sorry, but it's hard for me to get on his side when he literally boiled that guy for breaking a few rules about kitchen.
That was
Quality of
all
the
for
food.
profit. He was all profit.
It was the quality of the food.
Yeah,
I
he
get
didn't
it.
care
I
about the
get it,
regular
but,
people.
I get it, but boiling him to death seems a little.
No, it
extreme,
seems a little severe. I'm not going to lie. It seems
you
like
know.
the
So,
punishment didn't
but-
match the crime.
but it's one of those things. But at the same, like I said, there were some great fight scenes that I really enjoyed. I don't know. I just felt that, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I really hope those stunt guys who's had their legs on fire, I hope those guys got a couple extra bucks, because that was some serious, that was some serious stuff right there, man. That was not digital fire. You know what I mean? That was just, hey, let's light these guys on fire, cover them with asbestos, I'm sure, and have them fight it out. But
And none of them are credited. I can't even find out who played the head of the dojo. That Asian
Really?
actor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know why he must be some known stuntman in the region or something. But
maybe. But but yeah, so for me it was really kind of weird and goofy, and it didn't quite kick in for me like it did for you in that second half. I had a hard time
John called me halfway through.
getting
I
into
called
like,
him at the
I-
54-minute mark.
He goes, I don't know. Ralph, tell me."
Okay, so as I'm watching it, I'll give you my take before Drew goes. But so as I'm watching the first 54 minutes, there's a couple things going through my head. One of them was, if anyone's hesitant in this group about doing any more Indian movies,
We're out.
this is the one that just knocked him out. And so I called Ralph. I go, Ralph, have you watched this yet? Because I got to tell you, this first, I don't know. It's a 3-hour film, but the first hour is like, what the hell is this movie? And then he says, have you met Remo yet? And I said, no. He goes, wait for Remo. I said, okay, I'll sit through it. And he's right after the intermission. And then it became this I don't even know what it was. It was Kill Bill. It was The Matrix. It was Seven. It was so many different things. And I absolutely loved the second half of the movie. The first hour was just brutal. But the actor, who I've never seen before, I really liked him. And the way he did the split personalities when he was in the hotel room with the girl and he's beating himself up and getting thrown against the wall. But the voice and he's a voice actor too, as well as a singer.
Mhm.
So he did a lot of his own stuff. It wasn't dubbed. I really liked that about this. And I also, the director did some really interesting things, I thought. And again, this isn't stuff I normally look at like you guys, but a lot of angles, a lot of different colors. Like one angle would be one color, another angle would be a different color. And obviously that represented something.
Yeah, but there was no motivation for it.
I know,
yeah,
there
it was
wasn't.
pretty fast and loose.
It
with the
wasn't. It
filters,
was
but-
like Jason Pollock painting. It's like, what the
Yeah.
why?
Is that Jackson's brother?
I'm sorry. Yeah, that's his brother.
And there were even
Jackson.
there was even breaks in the film that
Yeah.
looked like film damage that I'm not sure if that was real or fake or. if
Well,
they
I think
just-
everything
mean,
was done for
looked
real.
like rollouts at
some
the end of the
reason.
film that.
Now, so I really liked it. It was just crazy. My one big complaint about the split personality thing, and this really bothered me, was I get the whole split personality mental thing, but his hair and his clothes changed when he split personalities. And that made no sense to me. Like when he was lying on that chair as the first guy, the mouse, and then he turns into Remo, and his hair gets streaked and long, and now he's wearing white clothes. That's the part of it. Now, was that just in his head, or is that what was actually happening? That I just thought
At that
was
point, I've given in to whatever.
but that was so stupid.
Yeah, when we first meet Remo, his song, he changes outfits between
Right.
shots in the
Right.
song, and at one point he has cornrows. Like,
Right.
you know, it's not. We're not doing verite cinema.
And that woman
I
he was
know.
dancing
yeah.
That
with,
did bother me.
That
But
woman
I thought
that-
that actor was great. I thought he was. I've never
and the
seen him
lead
before.
woman, some Czech Indian model, was stunning. The woman he was dancing with in that.
Well, it's funny because when she was in the traditional clothes, she looked okay. Then when they did the dance with the modern clothes, I was like, damn.
I'm not talking about the woman to play the woman he was
Oh,
after.
you're talking
I'm
about the woman dancer?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
she's a big dancer who did a cameo. But
Yeah.
the lead, the woman lead,
Oh, they sexed her up in that scene.
I was like, where the hell did that come
This
from?
is what I-
was,
this is
whoa.
What I love about what I get confused about is they're so sexual without
Well,
being. It's
for
just
them.
unbelievable. I know
Right.
it's
Yeah.
you know, you're right. You go from the traditional clothing to her twerking
Right.
with him, and it's like, what the hell is?
And
going
every
on?
time they
So,
almost kissed, they stopped the scene.
these poor Indian
Right.
dudes, they got to be. I mean, it's got to be frustrating.
They got to walk out of there, and you know, it's not like Clute.
No, not at all.
Okay, Drew, that's my take. I want to hear what you think.
Well, you know how, I mean, like some movies are just crazy.
Yeah.
There's different kinds of crazy. This movie was not, I'm not quite on the wavelength of crazy that it wants to be, it wants you to be on. Like it's clearly on Ralph's wavelength 100%. I thought it was fun. I thought it was very slow at the beginning.
Yeah.
I kind of had to tell myself, just relax because you're not really going to get a realistic depiction of anything at all. And that's fine. That didn't bother me. But I think about movies that are like crazy like this. And I mean, obviously my kind of like completely insane over the top crazy is RRR. But I also thought of the movie Super that James Gunn did with Dwight from The Office as a superhero who gets really tired of people cutting in line and kidnapping children and stealing things. So he goes and becomes a superhero and beats people to death with a wrench. And that was a way that, you know, like Ambi could have gone. The character that he became, Anya, like you said, a murderer and very violent and stuff, but you don't see anything. Like when they see that police, senior police officer who likes to be in disguise and don't salute me, when they first look at the guy in the car after the water buffalo murder, and he goes, "Oh, it looks like mashed potato." I mean, if it was 7, we would have seen it. We would have seen all the potatoes in every scene, all that kind of stuff. So it didn't bother me that it wasn't gory, but it also reminded me of Split, because Split, the M. Night Shyamalan movie, which is actually better than I thought it was going to be. Part of the conceit of that is that when you have multiple identities, when you change, your body actually changes. And in that movie, it's a whole transformation. Like James McAvoy becomes the Beast, and he literally becomes muscular and taller, and his face, you know, gets more of a beastly and all these other things. This guy, this actor, that scene with the police where he's changing, you know, back and forth, like you said, it was just great. It was just so fun because you were just watching a guy basically do the best that he could do with this ridiculousness. And I never for 1 second, believed it. I never thought, well, this is a really realistic portrayal of what dissociative identity disorder might be. But I didn't care because it was just fun. And I think he is a superstar, and I get it. And we haven't watched a lot of the Tamil movies, and because when I first started watching it, the tone was, you know, all over the place, the kind of stuff we've talked about. I thought, is this Kitty? No, I thought, is this like spoofing Bollywood movies because it has everything in it and all this kind of stuff? And then I was
And
like,
also
well,
had
it's
the
not
cartoony sound effects.
right, but it's not a Bollywood movie.
No.
You know, it's Tamil, it's Hollywood, it's a different region. So I feel like I definitely missed a number of different levels of it not being Indian, which we can say about all the films that we've watched. But on the other hand, I mean, I can relate to being frustrated with the things that he's frustrated with. There's a 4-way stop that I have to go through every day on my way to work. I do want to commit murder often.
Yeah,
Because people just don't know how to do it or don't care. I don't actually get out of my car and kill people, but I get it. I get the impulse that, like, why don't you just follow the rules? Why aren't the rules good enough for everybody? And so for him, he turned into a villain. And I thought that was good that the villain was like, he was very savage. And it became cartoonish and crazy. I mean, way more bullet time than I expected.
A lot of
way
bullet
more.
time. Yeah.
A lot of bullet time. And also, I mean, maybe it's a Tamil movie thing. I don't know, but they love wire work. I mean, like there's so much wire work, and the whole thing where he's in a pile of people, and then he, like a superhero, kind of explodes and throws them in all directions, which was like the Burly Brawl, in the second Matrix movie.
Oh yeah.
Except none of those people were digital, as far as I could tell. They were real people on wires that they just threw on all directions, which is kind of crazy. It's funny that you say that about RRR, because in the first scene with Ram Charan, you see him when he's basically fighting a crowd. And at a certain point, he's buried under the crowd. And you already know he's a badass. So you're kind of like, well, how's he going to do it? Is he going to, do the Matrix thing? And he doesn't. He does what a person would do if they were trying to get out of it, which is bite this guy and poke this guy and punch this guy and grab this guy. This movie is not on that. This movie is superhero, super villain, super crazy. And so I didn't love it, but it was fun.
Did you like it?
It's my first Vikram movie.
When the head of the dojo had the 6 other guys jump on him and form that transformer.
It's just so silly. It was silly. It was fun.
Okay. All right.
It was silly. It was fun, but you have to be athletic. You have to be athletic to fight like that. Like these were great stuntmen in all these different scenes. So it was very impressive.
I was reading reviews on IMDb from viewers, and it was about 60-40 on people who thought it was really good and some people thought it was trash from Indian audience. And one of the things that they brought up was the cultural implications of what he does, that speech he does at the end.
The social message
about don't blame the government. Right. Because everybody, we want a new prime minister. We want to, don't blame the government. It's each one of us has to do the right thing. And it's what got his sister murdered or killed, not murdered. It was an accident. Was people not doing their job. And it led up to him losing his sister, which is what caused him to, disassociate and all the things that go on in the film. I thought that message, once it got there in that auditorium, obviously it's over the top. The whole movie's over the top. And I guess I just said, you know what? I'm in. I give up. It's the same thing that happened with me.
Everyone started following the rules.
What's
they were
that?
going to break the rules. They go, I'm not going to break the rules.
Yeah, India got better. Well, that's the funny thing. Like that is like, that's a good message, and it's very patriotic, and it's the community coming together and all this stuff. It's still a serial killer having a press conference at a stadium. And the police just let him do it. It's totally bizarre.
Put posters out to promote
it's crazy.
the event.
It's crazy.
But I mean, the honesty about India being 20th dirtiest country, whatever he was saying,
and the corruption and all that stuff.
I felt like that is where the social significance of the film was, and I think that's why it resonated with people who are proud of their country, and they're pointing this out and still proud. And we can fix this individually. We can all fix it. And that's the message. Now, as far as
hang on, I think PK is also in that tradition of somebody says, look at the big picture and look at yourself in the big picture, and maybe we can do better. Right. And I mean, it's, how can you argue against that kind of message? Yeah. You could say you like the movie, you don't like the movie. Maybe you don't think murder is the best way to get people's attention, but it's the movie it wants you to just be better. Yeah. And that's a nice message for such a crazy movie.
I would have been very upset in that last scene if he literally just walked away and didn't say anything or do anything to that drunk guy when she's on the phone with the doctor. And when I saw him leaning against the back, I go, okay, and to see the guy hanging outside the train and him looking at the camera, giving us a little like, aha, I thought that was fantastic.
It was fun.
And they're doing I saw a poster for 2. I think there might have been a sequel proposed. I don't know if they've done it. I don't know if they've done it, but I saw a poster for it. That might have been a fan-made poster, which fools us all the time.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, I knew this thing was nuts. You know how I feel about these dance numbers in the middle. I think it's ridiculous, but I fell for these. I thought they were great. I wanted to compile just the dance numbers by themselves. I showed Maria one of the Remo walk dance. I said, you got to see this thing because it's insane.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's insane.
Well, plus he does the backwards Frogger across the highway.
Oh yeah.
That was really fun. Like
that's a crazy effect to pull off.
Yeah,
too. There's some good things. That's what I mean. I think.
Wait, I want to hear more from Chris. Chris isn't saying it. I want to hear more from Chris.
Well,
what do you think about the social message?
Well, I mean, yeah, but like you said, it's along the lines of like falling down. You know,
Mhm.
I remember seeing Falling Down, and I was very excited about that movie when it came out, and I think it's still a good movie.
Yeah.
But I also think that, I remember seeing um, Michael Douglas talking about it, and he was saying how it was like back when stars actually did promotion work for a movie after it came out. So it was like a week or so after the movie had come out, and he was on the Tonight Show or something. He was talking about it. He's like, "Yeah, well, I've seen it with different groups of people. Like he's like, I saw it in a movie in like the suburbs, and people are laughing, and kind of chuckling and stuff like that." He goes, and then I went to see it in like an inner city theater, and he's like, people are screaming and cheering at the film because they had this more of a kind of a thing. But I guess in the end, it's like in the end, just like in that film, I had a hard time getting beyond like, murdering people. Like
That's
Well, it's
totally
also-
reasonable.
It's also
know?
the thing that we just can't get our heads in. It's how it's not, naive isn't the right word. I think Sean has mentioned this. Just how like open they are about their feelings and how it
Sure.
comes off as corny, right? The idea
Well,
that he
yeah,
comes
but-
out of that sanitarium with khakis and like a nice shirt and his
And a
hair's
haircut.
different, he's cured, right? I mean,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
earnest.
and then if you
Exactly.
notice in the courtroom, his lawyer had a bunch of books under his arm and files, and the top book was Sybil.
Yes, they,
Oh,
they
was
said
it?
that
I
a couple
didn't know.
times. Yeah,
I didn't
that's
notice
funny.
that.
Yeah, it's like okay.
He's like, here's all the books about this, and there's like
Right,
four
yeah.
of them.
I had to do hats off. That's why I just gave in, and I absolutely just loved it. And
It is a movie that dares you not to join it.
I
And,
think so.
that-
The whole
that's
thing with
fun.
the hair, like the camera angle with the hair
Yeah.
coming down.
I don't
Like
know
either
why
you
that-
dig that or you don't, and
Yeah,
it's
like
fun.
the-
It's silly.
Like I called
Chris
it
didn't
bang
like it.
scam.
You call
Like,
what?
scam. Bangs, because you suddenly had bangs.
Yeah, the bank scam. Yeah, right.
The bangs came on, and I was just, I don't know, it just didn't quite land for me, and it was just like I said, I was like, yeah, these guys are jerks. It's like, okay, I'll tell you, and I'm sure all four of us on here have the same pet peeve. People who talk in the movies.
Oh,
You know what? I'd like Aniam to come in there and whip a little ass, but I don't necessarily think
I'm
they
on
should.
a train every day to Washington D.C. Okay,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and there's things that go on in those trains that you want to throw people out the window. Like
Sure.
you just
Of
can't
course.
believe the things that people do.
Well,
Inconsiderate. It's
don't
just
forget the first
it's
guy
just being
left and
inconsiderate.
The guy died.
What's
I mean,
that?
The guy died because the guy left.
Yeah.
them.
Right.
Mhm.
So that it wasn't like an innocent little mistake. I mean, the guy
Sure.
died because he wouldn't help out.
Yeah, and
I'm not saying he deserved to die, but
Well, that's
it
what I
wasn't
mean. I
like
don't
a
want to
little
push somebody
thing.
out a train window because they kept their briefcase on an empty seat and they know that they're not
Well,
supposed
Well,
to.
but
do
that's
that.
that's
But I
not,
wouldn't
but that's
mind
not what
that
it's
to
saying.
happen once. What?
That's not what it's saying. You do want to do that. You
I
want to
do.
push him out of the train, but you
Right.
don't.
right.
Right.
yeah,
But it's okay. I mean, it's okay to acknowledge that you want to do that because it's the little cuts that ultimately drive you crazy. And in
That's
this
what that
case,
is.
he's saying
That's the
the
whole
whole
point.
country is driving me nuts. It killed
We
my
want a lot
sister.
of views, but we're not going to go after people who don't watch.
Well, I mean,
Maybe
that's
we-
different because there's not a
maybe
law
we
that
will.
they
I
have to
don't know.
watch. I don't feel like I want to kill somebody if they stop watching the show.
I don't
If-
know.
I'm starting to feel that way.
Like I want to kill somebody when I find out they tied their dog to a tree and walked away. But I don't hunt those people down and kill
Come
them.
on,
I say,
dude.
well, how can we save the dog? So
Dude,
I think
Yo-Yo.
What was
it's
this?
kind of a fun way to go with that. I wish people weren't so shitty approach.
but yeah,
I love you. You love me. You know you do.
Ramp walk Remo. Oh, let's not forget the guy actually can take off the roof and move the moon and the stars around to get you to want to yo-yo him. That was a ridiculous scene. I was like, all right,
That's
is
a ridiculous scene.
this
That's
is
one you gotta pick
ridiculous.
out. Not the
in a fun
dojo,
way.
and with 800 people going after him, and
I
him
do want to
flying
say
all
again,
over the
that
place.
girl,
And the woman never running
Oh.
away.
you look so
Yeah,
good
right.
in that
She kept
Martin
running in
Corey.
circles or something. I don't know why she just didn't.
Well, she ran away from the hotel and everything to get to the dojo eventually, but then she could have run away from the dojo while he was
Right.
fighting an octopus person. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe she wanted to believe that it would turn out okay, and it did, except for the last guy on the train.
that poor guy.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, I don't even know if that's really, and that's probably my favorite part of the movie, that they leave you hanging, that you don't know. Like I would like to think, I think it makes more, like for me, it's more engaging, more interesting, is if at the end they have kind of given you the idea that there's no more split personalities, but maybe it's just Anion.
Anian
Right.
took over.
Like Primal Fear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Roy the
And it
whole
was
time.
never
kind
a
of thing.
split person,
Yeah,
or
I
like
don't know.
he
I don't
has
think it was
become this
that.
other person.
That's
I don't think it was
how I
that
read
subtle. I don't think that was that subtle. I think he had three personalities. Did
No,
that
I think
first
he
guy-
I think he actually had three personalities, but the one that's left, the one that's walked out,
The one
in his
that's left
one
that
that's
has
faking
become
it?
was
dominant.
actually Anyan saying, "All right, I'll be quiet for 2
Maybe
years, and
that's
then
the
I can
sequel that
finally
they're doing.
relieve." That
Well,
could be it.
Remo's not coming back because she admitted she loved the first
Right.
guy.
Yeah.
Right. We
Remo's
told you
not-
how to
Did,
kill
that
Remo.
guy-
It wasn't as
that-
clear, Anyan.
the drunk he killed on the bench, or the one he smacked around on the bench, was
The
that
one who was taking a rest after taking a rest.
right? Was that the drunk who got
He
his
was the
sister
electrician.
electrocuted?
He was the electrician when the daughter died.
Okay, so he was.
Was
the-
that the same guy?
I
Yeah.
think so. I
Yeah.
think so.
Oh, I
was just
didn't catch
curious.
that
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
Okay.
So all right,
he
so
deserved it.
I'm gonna rate this 4 Ladus, 4 out of
4?
5. Yeah, I for me, I'm just saying for me.
I got Ralph.
And
You
I came this close to quitting.
Don't have to.
I came within 40
I'm
minutes
telling
of
you, Ralph,
saying,
as I was
I'm done.
watching the film, I'm going, Ralph's not going to want to do this ever again.
I'm
That's
done.
what I was thinking.
I'll moderate. I'll talk to you guys, but I can't sit for 3 hours. This one, I got to admit, kept me on. So that's why I'm giving it 4 Ladus. John,
I will give it. I have to do what I did last week because that first hour
no, you
is
can't.
a
Oh,
one
come on,
Ledoux.
with this and that.
One Ledoux for the first hour, and I'll give the second half 3 Ledoux.
Okay, so that's
It was nuts.
that's 2.5 Ladus or 2 Ladus, really. When
2
you average
Ladus.
that out, is that right? Chris, you're the math guy.
More 3. I'll say more 3.
Hardly
You
the
can do
math
that.
guy.
I'll say 3.
Yes.
We'll
I can
save the worst
average
for
2
last.
and
Drew?
3.
I would give it 3 Ladus. I didn't expect, as John said implied, I didn't expect to give it 3 Ladus an hour into the movie, but I had a good time with it. The one thing that I wish that it had, just for my enjoyment of it, some of the dance sequences and stuff were definitely a lot of fun. Like you said, the one in Holland and the one with all the like crazy Technicolor buses and things like that.
Yeah,
And
that
the,
was
the
cool.
Remo dance is
Yeah.
fun. I haven't gone back to any of the songs. And there's a lot of movies that we've watched that I'm like, I may not watch this movie again, but I'm going to listen to that song again. Like in Doom 3, there's a couple of those. I wish I liked the music better because those really felt like if those weren't in the movie, the story wouldn't be that different, except for Remo. And so it didn't bother me, but I think if I loved the songs, I would feel even more, excited about it. But 3 Ladus, I think, is fair.
Right. Speaking of that Remo thing, real quick before Chris jumps with his
Mhm.
half a Ledoux or 1 Ledoux, whatever. How did Remo put that whole thing together so quickly? That whole model ramp thing. I mean,
Well, you could see some people I think have posed like, well, maybe the whole thing is just in his head, and
Yeah.
all of the stuff is in his head, which to me is super boring. Because it shouldn't be just in his head. It should be that the world is crazy and this is what happens in this world, and don't worry about it. And that's how you have to watch the movie.
I felt the choreography in all those dance numbers was amazing. And you
Yeah,
talk about that
amazing.
bus one in particular, when people would pop up in front of the screen and the
Mhm.
buses were beautiful, those things with the mustaches and the faces. I just thought it was great. All right, Chris, lay the hammer down.
No, I'm actually
Oh.
going to give it 2 Ladus. And the reason I'll give it 2 is because I do think that it had some really cool scenes. You talk about some of the musical numbers are really awesomely choreographed. Some of the fight scenes are amazing, right? Like there's some really amazing choreography there, and there's some exciting stuff to get excited about. But I just couldn't. It couldn't quite hook me, and I'm sorry.
Did you watch it in one viewing or did you split it up?
No, I had to split it into 2. Maybe
Dude,
even
did you watch it one sitting? Did you split it up?
I did watch it in one sitting.
Okay, me too.
I wasn't sure that I was going to.
Well,
but
I had a 10-minute
but I
break
did.
talking to Ralph after 54 minutes. But
I had to
Talk
talk
to you
about
back
it.
off the
He
ledge.
got me to watch it again.
He thought for
Okay,
sure that he was calling me and I was going, I'm done. I'm quitting. I can't do this. Because I'm telling you, when I first rented it, I think I rented it or whatever,
Yeah.
and I see that it's 3 hours. I'm just like, oh, come on.
Well, there's
I
another
can't.
version that's 2 hours and 37 minutes. I think there's a Hindi dub version.
That's
they
what I was
cut out
reading.
some scenes.
Probably you cut out a couple of those dance numbers. You shorten it by 20
Well, those
minutes.
dance numbers, as much as I liked them, they were very long.
They're very long.
They were,
Very
each one of them was
every
very
one of them.
long.
Yeah.
So that's the idea that they go for 3 hours to be entertained. I guess.
Yeah,
huh?
exactly.
So
You cut those down a little bit. It's a shorter.
all right.
We talked about it being like 7.
Yeah.
But he's actually acting out what's the name of the book? The Garuda Purana.
They're
Like
right,
all
they're
of the
sins.
murders
Those
are
sins, right? or
are
something?
specific punishments from sins, and that's
yeah.
Chitragupta is a real thing, and the book is a real thing. That's like 15,000 verses of rules of how to live your life. So that was a whole other part of the movie that, of course, like I know what the 7 deadly sins are. so I can
Yeah.
figure out what's happening 2 sins in the movie kind of stuff. But I like that they made it very clear. They went back to the book and here's the pictures and here's what he's doing. And you're like, oh, okay. So he really is following.
Those are the
like
words he
7.
was leaving at every.
Right.
Yeah.
Which audiences may have recognized that, already. I mean, we didn't, but I thought that
they
was
didn't
neat.
translate them in
Right.
subtitles.
Right. Exactly. I thought that was neat.
Should we do another viewer pick? I'm getting a little worried about, this is
Listen,
like hit
we
or miss.
committed to this.
Yeah, we made a
whether we
promise.
like them or not, you got to stick with it.
Yeah. Okay. Really? Okay.
All right. Well, hey,
No,
pick
okay.
one. Pick
Let's
one that
pick
you want
one.
to watch.
Let's see how the next one goes. No,
These guys are the ones that know.
no,
the
I got it. The
movie.
wheel of destiny determines everything. And listen, I was ready to jump off this thing.
I know
So-
you were, and I'm.
And I want to grow hair like that. I want to do
I
that.
almost put a
Jealous.
community poll, guys. After the first hour of this film, this may be the last one we ever do.
So, all right, let's see who's next or what's next.
Okay,
All right.
we're whittling it down slowly.
I just, we should put the links on these so I know what we're getting into because that.
No, that's part of the surprise.
No,
Throws me
Ralph,
off.
you're better off not knowing before you got to watch it.
Maybe. I don't know.
My name is Khan. I hope.
Trance.
Trance.
Oh, close.
There you
Okay, so this is with Fafa,
Fafa. Mm-hmm.
and it's about a motivational speaker, Ralph.
Oh, is that what you are? You consider yourself a motivational speaker?
Yeah, of course. That's what I
You're
do.
selling warranties.
No.
I guess that's motivation.
one aspect of what I do.
Okay. Fafa,
That's what
he's
it's
the guy
about.
we like. I like, right? That's
He's
the
great.
guy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
played the
This
the
is a
drum.
Malayalam film.
Okay.
Well, here's the problem.
Oh no.
I haven't found it in Malayalam yet. You can rent it on Amazon. We can rent it on Amazon in the Hindi dub for a couple bucks, but I haven't
Oh,
found
so it's dubbed in Hindi?
Yeah, the version that we can watch.
Oh,
Like the same way RRR is a
Yeah.
Telugu movie that was dubbed in Hindi. So we'll
I
keep
hate that.
looking to
Now that
see.
you know the guy's
if we can
voices,
find
I
it.
hate that.
Right. So we'll see if we can find it, but right
Okay.
now I don't think we can find it. But we'll. I mean, I've been looking forward to this one. I'll figure it out. But
Okay. Yeah, because
All right,
maybe one of our viewers can get it to us in the Malayalam version.
Before we go, I'm just going to show a video from Sean. He just wants to say thanks to everybody that reached out to him
Very
during
nice.
his tragedy that they dealt with, and frankly are still dealing with. So I just want to play that and then come back.
Hi, this is Sean. I'm speaking on behalf of Debbie and myself. I want to thank everybody for all the kind words and thoughts and prayers after the death of our granddaughter, Emma, who had appeared on the podcast a while ago as a guest. It's a devastating time here in the Murphy house, and all your thoughts and prayers were comfort to us. And I don't know when, but I hope to be able to see you all again and get back on the podcast again sometime soon. But God bless you and thank you.
Nice job, Sean. All right.
and thank you to everybody.
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
there.
Thanks.
Thanks very much.
We
Very
really
kind.
appreciate it. I'm sure they really appreciate it. So
They do.
I know they did.
They do,
Absolutely
yeah.
do. And you guys
All
are
right.
great.
Yeah.
So
that's what community is all about. That's what this movie was all about. It's like we all got to, help each other by doing the right thing. So
Sure.
exactly.
that's it. Okay. So no breaking rules on this show. Otherwise,
Look out for the
Coming to get you.
bangs.
The bang cam will
So-
get you.
I'll come and get you.
Actually,
buddy.
that doesn't sound good at all. I shouldn't call it the bang cam.
that'd be a different show. It's
It's a
different. movie.
different podcast.
Right.
That would be a different one altogether. Yeah.
All right. Everybody have a good week. John, we want to subscribe or anything? You seem a little distracted.
Subscribe, hit the notification button, hit the like button, and share. One other thing, I did see for those that don't watch the 10-ish minute review, I saw Tiger 3
Hmm.
in the theater this past week,
Yeah.
which was incredible. But I was the only person in the theater.
You said that.
Oh,
Where
It
did you
was
see
a
that?
private screening.
Where'd you go see that?
It was pretty. I felt lame, but it was amazing
No,
to see it.
I love going to the movie and only being the only. But where did you see it? Where was the actual movie theater? Tell me the town you
it
saw.
was
it.
in
at Patriot Place.
Massachusetts.
Where's is
Patriot
that in
Place.
Foxborough? Foxborough?
Foxborough.
Oh, okay. That's
But
I'm
it,
curious.
but it was empty. I mean, it's got like 25 theaters. There was 3 employees,
wow.
and I went in there by myself, and I was laughing because there's a huge cameo in it. And I was like, oh my God. And I'm like the only one there. If I was with an Indian audience, they would have gone crazy. From what I understand, they were, when the cameo happens in the film, I guess they were lighting off fireworks in the movie theater in India.
Wow.
So it was great, though. I really enjoyed it.
They frown upon that here, just so you know.
Yeah.
I know. I kept my
That might
fireworks.
actually get you killed if you did that. So, all right. Have a good week, everybody. See you next week. I'm
right.
sorry. Again, what's the name of this film?
Trance. You will be in a
Trance.
Trance.
France.
And I will bring my
Fafa.
motivational speaker background with
Can't
me
wait.
for that
That'd
one.
be
Oh,
awesome.
nice.
And
You
maybe
can-
Sean might or might not be with us next week. We're not sure. Next show. We're going to let
Whatever.
him take whatever time
At
he
his
needs,
own
but
pace.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. You guys have a good week. Stay
All right,
safe.
you too. Take
See
care,
you
guys.
guys.
Oh, happy Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah, happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
Everybody have a great Thanksgiving.
Will
Do
do.
the same.